Hello, ladies. Welcome to the show tonight. I'll wait a few minutes until we have some people join us. I saw that 3 were waiting, so if you join us, make yourself known. This was a super, super busy day for me, so I actually just decided about 15 minutes ago that I would do this topic. That's why I didn't have it come up for a while, so wait until some ladies join us here. I'm in my son's room. You get to see all the different rooms in my home. When I don't feel like moving the big computer, I just keep it down here. So sometimes it's a little spotty, the internet's a little spotty, or it buffers sometimes. So just hang in there if that happens, because I'm in the boys' room. Hi, Jessica. All right, let me turn my phone down. There we go. How's everyone doing on this Monday? It was a week, rough week for me last week. Last Monday's show went really, really well. It's already up to a lot of views. The funny thing is that for some reason, it's not showing up on my videos, like in my creator studio and my YouTube app, the pro vaccine, or not pro vaccine. Can you be pro vax and pro life? It is not showing up on my videos, and I'm wondering if it's because it's about vaccinations. So kind of weird. But that went really, really well. It already has over 2,100 views. So keep getting the word out about that. It's definitely something that Christians need to care about. And then, so that show went really well. But then on Tuesday morning, I came down with the flu. Thought it was a cold. It turns out it was the flu. So I had a fever up until Friday, Tuesday through Friday. So yes, from Tuesday through Friday at midnight actually is when it finally broke. So Saturday was my first day not running a fever. So anyways, today I decided I was just going to do potty training 101 because I had a lot of comments from people suggesting that I do this topic. So I will wait and I will go ahead and do any questions that you guys have. Jenny, hi. Austin said I should have gotten the flu vax. You know what's funny is that I got sick with that Tuesday morning, and I was thinking, I'm like, oh, great. This is just what I need. Right after I do a show about vaccinations, and then I come down with the flu, everyone's going to be saying, it's because she didn't get her flu shot. So, yes, I had those thoughts cross my mind. I really did. Okay, so we're going to do potty training 101. This should not be a super long show tonight because I feel like everything can fit into a nutshell. It's not really that difficult. I'll answer any questions you have about it. But I have had, I've had 7 children, but I've potty trained 6 of them. And I've had very, very good success with potty training. I've always said I needed to write a book about it just because the way that I do it is very, very, it's foolproof. I've had 6 children with 6 completely different personalities. And I've potty trained strong-willed children. I potty trained easygoing children. And actually the easygoing children, I think, will probably be harder than that. So I've potty trained children of all, different personalities. And it's gone pretty much the same with all of them. And I wrote nothing down. It was a crazy day. I had school, and then as soon as school was done, I went and got groceries, and I did errands. So I got home, and I had to figure out what I was going to do. So I haven't had time to write anything down, so this is all off the top of my head. So I always start mine when they are 24 months old. So when they turn 2, I go and I buy whatever type of underwear that they like. And that could be for boys, obviously, Batman, Superman, whatever they like. Every boy loves Batman. Every boy loves Superman. Even if they've never even seen the show. I mean, my kids have never even seen the show, but a boy is going to like superheroes. So I can't even remember what kind of underwear, I bought my first. But it's better when you potty train in real underwear because then it's more of a loss if they have an accident than just using a pull-up. I personally do not like pull-ups. I think they're great for, maybe peace of mind or sanity, like when you're out and about. I have used pull-ups when I'm, and I'll explain how I use them in a little bit. But I personally don't like pull-ups very much. So when I potty train, I probably only buy 1 or 2 packs and then I'm done. And my husband's funny too, because after our kids are officially potty trained, he tells me don't buy any more diapers. So I don't buy any more diapers, and they just sleep in underwear. And we do have some accidents at the same, I saw Dorothy said same, so I started saying same. We have some accidents at the very, very beginning when they're first potty trained, but then it just kind of tapers off and they learn to just go the whole night without wetting the bed. And it's funny because I've never used pull-ups after, I've never used diapers after they're officially potty trained, and I've never had one bedwetter. So I know a lot of families, they'll have maybe 1, 2, maybe every other child is a bedwetter. I have never, ever had a bedwetter. And I think that's pretty good for, out of 6 children never having a bedwetter. So they turn 2, I buy them a pack of their favorite underwear. And then I clear my schedule for an entire week. I decide I'm going to potty train. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is my life. I'm going to eat, sleep, and breathe potty training. So the first day, and they usually have a little potty chair. I take their potty chair and I set them in front of their favorite show, whatever that is, something on YouTube, a movie, whatever, and I give them a sippy cup full of half water, half juice, whatever liquid you guys do in your home. So I set them in front of the TV on their little potty chair with their cup of juice, and I sit there with them. And we watch whatever show they want to watch. So I'll sit there, we're watching. And the whole goal of this is that you have to be able to hear the first time they pee into the potty. And so you sit there and for however long it takes until they go. And when they start peeing, you have to let loose and do a little potty dance for them. You have to get excited. You have to scream. You have to say, good job, you're awesome. That's it. You just peed. You have to go crazy. And then have some type of reward. I did like the M&Ms. A lot of times I did M&Ms, goldfish, whatever is a little reward in your house. And so then you give them an M&M. And you say, good job, now you can get up. And you let them get up. And then you show them in the potty chair. I like those potty chairs that have the one that just comes out and you can go dump it, rinse it, clean it, whatever. And then you show them what's in the potty chair and you just went potty. Because I found that the first key to potty training success is them realizing what the potty is for. Them realizing why they're sitting there. They don't really get the whole concept. And for my children, the first time, once I can see it on their face, it's like they go and they're like, oh, that's what that means. I can see it click on their face. So then once they understand it, then the peeing part is really, really easy, I think. My children usually by the end of the first day, they have the peeing part down. Because the first step to realizing is the first step to potty training success is just realizing what is there. So then, after they've gone the first time, I continue giving them juice, but I set a timer. And I set a timer for 30 minutes. So then every 30 minutes, I go and I put them back on the potty chair. And I say, now go pee pee. And sometimes, warm water will encourage this. And then as soon as they start going again, you start making a big deal about it. Yay, good job, you're awesome. Here you go, here's some more M&Ms. And so pretty soon, by the end of the first day, they're going to know, okay, I sit on the potty chair, I go potty, and I get to get up. Now, if they don't, the first couple times, if they don't figure it out, then you have a YouTube marathon. And you sit there and you watch YouTube, you sing songs with them. It's kind of fun because it's like one-on-one time with your 2-year-old. And so Austin is my nephew. He said you don't give them rewards every time if they don't go give them a spanking. If you give them rewards, they get spoiled. Okay, Austin, whatever. Because that's what your mom did with you, right, Austin? His mom was my sister. So I lost my train of thought. Thanks a lot, Austin. So then they realize there's a pattern there, so that they realize it. And then the number 2 is a little bit harder. You kind of have to watch for cues with the number 2. And this just comes down to knowing your child. You know, from even when they're in diapers, by the time they get to be 2 years old, you can recognize a sign of a bowel movement. You can recognize when they're about to go. And for some of my kids, this actually was not difficult because I think for them, it's a lot easier to tell when they're about to go, number 2, than when they're just about to pee. So then they would come, you know, they'd come running, oh, potty, potty, potty. So then I'd rush them to the potty and they would go. So I would say, oh, and then another thing is I don't put pull-ups on them. So like I said, once I get them the underwear, they wear the underwear. So even when you let them get up between times that you're taking them potty, I put the underwear on them. And for my firstborn, he hated being dirty. He hated being wet. He hated anything like that. So he was really, really easy because he would freak out and he would panic if he even peed himself. But I remember with my second, Jason, he loved the dirt. He loves dirt. He loved, bugs and being dirty. And so for him, it really didn't faze him. In fact, I remember one time I put on his underwear and I was just waiting for the first time that he messed up and peed and he figured out. But he was like playing in these laundry baskets, these empty laundry baskets. And I came in there to check on him and he's just sitting there playing and he had peed and it was like in the laundry basket and he didn't even care. So I'm like, okay, well, that method isn't going to work with Jason because he doesn't care that he's all wet. So it depends on the child. But Jason was really my only one that didn't really care about that. Now, my other ones, they all panicked. Like the first time they felt, the pee running down their leg, they started panicking and crying. And I'm like, that's what happens. You're supposed to do this on the potty. That's what happens when you do it in your underwear. So now, the one time I use pull-ups, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm trying to keep my thoughts in order here. So about the first day is when they learn what the potty's for, that it's for peeing, whatever. And by the second or third day, they're starting to kind of learn how to make sure that they don't wet themselves when they're in their underwear, when they're on plane or whatever. And I'm still, for the first few days, I set the timer. I have to constantly set the timer, and it's going to get old. But like I said, you cleared your schedule. You don't go anywhere. You don't have any errands planned. You don't have any, outings planned with friends. Obviously, you go to church, and I'll get to that. That's when I do the pull-ups. But for a whole week, you have your schedule cleared. So for the first 2 or 3 days, you're going to set the timer. You're going to take them every 30 minutes. You're going to make sure that they are drinking so that they have something to go. You're going to watch their cues so you can catch the number 2. And I found that with the number 2, most of the time, by the time they figure that out too, it's not too much longer and they're telling you that they need to go. So, cloth diapers I don't know, Shara, because this will be my first time with cloth. So I'll be wondering how it's going to potty train Kelly, because I do have her in cloth. I don't know if that would make it easier or harder, and I guess I'll get back to you about that. So giving a child a spanking for not pottying is pretty harsh. Yes, it is. That was Austin that said that. That was my nephew, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. Seems like a good way to provoke them to anger and make them feel like a loser. And here's the thing. You don't want potty training to be this dreaded time. You don't want it to be this horrible time where you're screaming at the child and the child's crying and he hates it. That's going to make it, you're not going to potty train in a week like I do. If you make it, it has to be very, very positive. It has to be, like I said, you need to get excited. You need to sit there with them. You need to interact with them, make it fun. And then when they do finally go for the first time, you need to go crazy with excitement. You need to reward them. It needs to be very positive. You need to do more. You need to do rewards versus punishments, because they're not actively sinning when they're pottying in their pants on accident. They don't know. Okay, so they're only 2, and they don't know yet. And that's why you're training them. That's why it's called potty training. So yes, definitely do not do not make it into a screaming match. Do not make it full of anger and full of fear. This has to be a pleasant experience. This has to be a pleasant week for you. You don't want tears. So, and most of the time, for every child, it's pretty much been very pleasant. And after a week, they're trained. So the first few days, like I said, set the timer, reward them when they go, get excited when they go, do the potty dance. Oh, what was the one? I used to do a little song with my kids. Is it do the potty dance? Do the potty dance? Something. It was something stupid like that. But we would sing a little song when they would go potty and they would do good things. So Leanne said I tried to get excited for my son when he did number 2 the first time, but he told me to go watch your movie. He didn't care. What do you do when you run out of the underwear in one day? I always put them back into diapers. You buy more underwear. You wash them. Just, underwear are washable. So if they mess them, just wash them. Buy enough that you can have a load in the washer while you still have more to put on them. So, yeah, Jessica said, I usually have to wash a load in the middle of the day or buy an extra pack of underwear. That's what I would do. Just buy 2 packs of underwear at the beginning. I remember there was a couple times, like, it was so bad. This was after they were potty trained. The mess was so bad because there will be accidents. Even after they're fully trained, they're going to have an accident here and there. But there was 1 or 2 times the mess was so bad we had to throw away the underwear with the character on it, and it caused tears because they didn't want to throw away Superman or Spider-Man or whatever it was. They didn't want to throw it away. So that was the time when there was tears. But after 2 or 3 days of setting the timer, they're going to be pretty much on a routine, on a schedule, and they're going to realize when they have an accident. So that's good. It's good when they're realizing that they're having accidents. Now, when we go out and about, I have done this before. I want my children to know when they have an accident, even if we're out in public. So I will put the underwear on, and then I will put a pull-up on over it. That way, I'm not having to clean up puddles in Walmart or whatever. But then they'll have the backup, so they'll feel wet because their underwear is on first. So they'll feel the wetness and they'll know, I had an accident. But then the pull-up is there to catch it so that they don't be everywhere. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, but they used to. Back when I was potty training my older kids, I don't know if they still have them. They had these pull-ups that felt cool, like when they would accidentally leak or have an accident, it would feel cool to the touch. So I never tried those, but I think it's an interesting concept because it's kind of the same concept as putting real underwear on them. Do you think boys are easier or girls? I don't, all of mine have been easy. People have asked me that before, and all of mine have been pretty easy when it came to potty training. Probably the girls, because you don't have to teach them how to aim. I did teach my boys, when I first started training them, I have them sit down. Obviously, you're sitting there watching YouTube. So they do learn to pee sitting down. But then when they've mastered it and they are potty trained, I then teach them how to stand up and pee. And this is hard, especially when they're 2. They're not very big when they're 2. And I train all of them when they're 2. So sometimes they might have to stand on a stool. And then you're looking at messes. So boys are just messier and smellier. So I think boys are harder in that aspect because you do have to train them to stand up then. And then, the tried and true Cheerio floating around in the toilet works. So teach them how to aim. Teach them how to aim and teach them not to make messes when they're little. It'll save you a lot of headache as they get older. Not to say my boys are not messy now because they're still kind of messy sometimes, especially in the middle of the night. But, teach them to raise the lid, teach them to put down the lid. Austin Keller, get real weirdo. You don't speak kids, spank kids. Yeah, Kimberly, it's my nephew. He's just being funny. I'm going to ban him from this channel from talking. Austin. Oh my goodness, Austin. Yeah, no one get mad at Austin. He's just how old is he, 15? 15-year-old, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. See, Austin, you're making everyone mad at you. That's what you get for coming on and talking. At what point do you teach them to aim? I would teach them to aim by the time they're fully potty trained. You know, once they have the whole concept down, just a few weeks into it. I'm pretty sure that's when I did it. I don't know. My boys were so long ago. Like I said, it was my oldest is 17, so this was like 15 and 14 years ago that I taught them. But it was pretty early on that I taught them how to aim. And like I said, a Cheerio floating around, just try to hit the Cheerio. Okay, now you got to point down. You have to put it down. That's the hardest thing, is getting them to learn that. So pretty early. Pretty early I would teach them. And then the girls are easy because they just, you know, you teach them, they learn to sit, and they just, you don't have to teach them how to stand up or anything. So then once they're fully potty trained, and I would say it was about a week or two into it, my husband, I was talking to him about the subject, and he didn't remember this, but I specifically remember him taking them out on a little fun outing, like to celebrate it. I remember him taking them out, giving them ice cream, and then taking them to Walmart and buying them a reward for them being fully potty trained. I think with one of the girls, he bought a movie, and it's the only one that we can remember. It was Cinderella. I know, so evil. But I remember he bought them Cinderella, and yeah, so I would do like a little fun thing, you know, have incentives. Be like, you know, you get this, you get 3 M&Ms when you go pee, you know, you get 5 M&Ms when you go poop, you know, and then give them little rewards, and then tell them, say, now when you do this all the time and you can go a whole day with no accidents, you're going to get this reward. And then I think after it was about a week or two is when we would declare them fully potty trained, when they would go a week with no accidents. And then my husband would take them on a fun little outing, and he would get them something. And I do want to say that it is completely normal to have times of regression. We would have sometimes when they would regress, and maybe they would have an accident like every day for like a week or something. And we would just kind of have to refocus, you know, and try to maybe spend the next couple days at home and kind of reinforce, you know, the potty training a little bit. I tend to notice that a lot of times it happened when stuff was going on in life, like when we were really busy, or maybe there was changes. One of the kids, was it Jason? No, he wouldn't have been old enough to do potty train then. One of them had just been potty trained when a sibling was born, you know, because I'm trying to get them out of diapers before their sibling comes. And they did end up regressing a little bit, probably because I was focusing so much time on the baby. You know, newborns are so demanding. And so that's when, you know, obviously you're not going anywhere for a while. You have to have a baby, but I really would have to try to make sure I focus more attention on that child, because you don't want to potty train them, have them totally potty trained, and then put them back in diapers. That's a royal pain. And I remember when my first son, I had potty trained him, and he was having health problems. He had a thyroid muscle duct surgery. He was fully potty trained, and I really, really didn't want to put him back in diapers, but he was going to be having surgery, and, you know, he was going to be out of it, and so I didn't know how it would go. And I remember I did put pull-ups on him during that time. We have a cute little picture where he's like in a little hospital gown. You can see his pull-up. And he was in a pull-up, but he did really well. He told me when he needed to go potty still, and I don't remember really. He might have had 1 or 2 accidents here or there when he was recovering. He ended up going through 2 surgeries for that. But he never really regressed from that. So kids will remember a lot more than you think they will. And then Jessica said also teach them to wipe their mess if they miss. Yes, that's good advice, because they will miss. So teach them to mess up. Teach them to wipe up their mess if they miss. So, but yeah, just know that regression is common and it's normal, and sometimes it's going to happen. But think of it this way: if they're potty trained at 2, you know, let's say you get them fully potty trained in 24 months. even if they do regress here and there, think of all the diapers that you've just now saved, just by potty training them maybe 2 or 3 months earlier than you were, originally going to. So, and I don't know, it's been pretty easy. Like I said, there have been times of regression. It can be frustrating if you're, especially if you have a newborn and you're cleaning up the newborn mess, and then you have to deal with potty training on top of it and everything. It can be stressful at times, but overall it's been pretty easy. My main thing would be keeping them in underwear so that they can tell when they're going, and they learn that way. And then positive reinforcement. It is not, I have seen parents take it way too far, and they spank them for accidents. And that, first of all, that is scarring to a child. Your child wants to please you. Most children do, even strong-willed children. They love you, they want to please you. And for you to be, so harsh about an accident, it's going to do the opposite of training them. That's going to train them to fear you, but it's going to do the total opposite of potty training. It's going to put a fear of it in them, and then you're going to give them problems. Like, I've even seen kids that maybe they're so afraid of going to the bathroom that they hold it, and it actually causes medical problems. They can cause constipation if they're super afraid of having a bowel movement, so afraid that mommy or daddy's going to explode at me that they will just hold it and hold it and hold it, and it causes them to be backed up. And then you're looking at doctor's visits and having to use medication to help things along. It's not pretty. So you have to be very careful of your attitude when it comes to potty training. So that's the main thing is on you. The main thing is how you react. You have to make it fun for them. You have to make it an enjoyable experience. Do not be harsh about it. Do not be mean. Make it enjoyable. And I think, and just be really, really, really careful with. Now, I did have one child. I can't even remember which one it was. Probably one of my strong-willed ones. That they knew what they were doing. They were a little bit older, maybe closer to 3. And they got mad, and they went into a corner, and with a defiant look, they messed their pants. Okay, so I have had a child that has done that before. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about honestly not understanding, not knowing, or just being so busy playing that they forget for a minute that they're potty trained and they just have an accident. That's not what I'm talking about. Obviously, you have to deal with all out defiance. But that's kind of rare that that'll happen. Only one of my children has ever done that. It was probably Chloe. She used to be one of my pretty strong ones. It was her. It might have been Tommy. I don't know which one it was. I probably shouldn't name him and embarrass him. Whoever it was. So John 3:16 said, how do you deal with the stress that you just had a baby and your husband is at home and helping you with the household when you can tell he is out of his element and gets frustrated with the daily stress? That's kind of why I don't like it when my husband's home, when I'm dealing with stuff like that. Men are out of the element when they're home. And, my husband's always been great after I've had a child. He has done his best to help in whatever way he can. But it does get to the point in the home where I'm just ready for him to go back to work or whatever. And I think with Kelly, he didn't really even take a day off. I think he took the Wednesday. She was born on Monday night, and he took off that Tuesday. That was about it. And I was in the hospital still. So by the time I got home, he was back doing all his church stuff. And by the next week, I think, did he go back to Walmart? He went back to Walmart the next week. So he was busy at the church most of the time after I had Kelly. But you had a C-section, you're limited. That's really, really hard. I would just, there's not much you really can do. I mean, he's just got to deal with it. I mean, you're limited. You had a C-section. So, just try to tell him that you appreciate what he's doing. Tell him that it means a lot to you because you are so limited. And that, it is day-to-day chaos being at home with the children. And there's not much you can do about it other than let him know how much you appreciate him and how much you're thankful to him for helping you out. So I had a couple that my husband was home for a little bit longer. Do you have anyone else to help with like meals and things, or are you on your own with that? Is your husband just pretty much? Yeah, Jessica said my mother-in-law helped out with my pregnancies. You can always hire a high school girl and have her come over and help with meals. That's what I was wondering. Do you have anyone to help with meals? Do you have anyone to help with cleaning? You know, meals and cleaning for most men, it's not going to be their forte. So, you know, maybe see if you can get help somewhere else. My mother-in-law has helped before too. My mom has come over for a few days after babies with some of them, and she's helped with the other kids, especially when they were younger. With Kelly, I was very blessed just because I have older kids and they help out a ton. And so, you know, Abby did all the cooking, and my older sons, you know, my oldest son has a driver's license. He was able to do errands or run to the store and get me anything he needed. So this one was a breeze after I had Kelly. You live too far from family and about an hour from your church family. Yeah, that's really tough. I guess he's just going to have to suck it up and do it. And you're just going to have to just, you know, try not to nag him or try not to have too high of expectations. You know, if he doesn't clean the house exactly the way you want it, which what man does, don't nitpick. Just take it with a grain of salt and realize it's going to be a little messy for a while until you recover. And that's okay. I still feel like I haven't even gotten back in my groove. And if you guys saw my video, I mean, my laundry pile is gone now, thank the Lord. I got to it Saturday finally, but I was down for 4 or 5 days last week. So, and I feel like I'm not in my groove yet because Kelly is very high maintenance. And even at night, I feel like by the time my other babies were 2 months old, they were sleeping through the night, and she is not at all. She's not there. And she'll be up. If I can get her to sleep before midnight, I'm doing good. So usually she'll go down between 11 and midnight, and then she will sleep a couple hours, but then she wakes up and she wants to nurse the rest of the night. So she's on me the rest of the night. And I have been co-sleeping with her from that point forward, but it's still hard because if you're a co-sleeper, you know you're not ever fully in a deep sleep when your child's next to you, and I'm finding that out now that I am co-sleeping more. I'm never really in a deep sleep. I'm always aware of her being there. So I feel like I need to sleep in more. Someone asked me to do one maybe about routines and my homeschool, you know, how I do that. I don't have much of a routine right now. And I feel bad about that. But, you know, have you heard the fourth trimester? The fourth trimester is the first 3 months after they're born. And doctors are encouraging moms nowadays to just hold your baby, be around your baby, nurse your baby, and just try to let the other things slide because those first 3 months are the hardest. So I think once we get past the first 3 months, it'll be better. And it'll be better for you too. Jessica said, I'm happy if the dishes in the kitchen are clean. Yes, same with me. And my daughter pretty much has been keeping it clean for the most part, so that helps a little bit. And then Dana said, I tell my husband to just let some things go. I've had C-sections, and I let my youngest hang on close to nap time. Yeah, that's what I would say. Just, don't have super high expectations when it comes to your house or whatever. Jenny asked, what do you bring with you for public bathrooms for potty training? Like a portal seat or a foldable one? Yes, I bring a foldable one that goes on a seat. And one thing I've noticed with public bathrooms, sometimes they're tough because the kids are scared of a lot of flushes. And so you just kind of have to calm them down and say, it's a little noisier than home, but it's okay. It's not going to hurt you, and you'll get a reward if you go. And yes, I've had too many times take them in the public restrooms. So yeah, they have these really cool little foldable ones. And you can go right in the diaper bag or whatever. You just whip that thing out, and then it's nice because you have it for anything. And I found that when I forgot the toilet seat, it was a nightmare. So I always remember to have that toilet seat with me. So Jenny said I cover a piece of toilet paper over the center. Yes, For the toilet that you're on, yes, definitely try to cover the sensor so it won't go off when they're sitting there, because then that really freaks them out. And I learned that the hard way, because then they start screaming and crying. And then someone thinks that you're like abusing your child in there. You know, you don't want your kids screaming and crying all over the place. So yeah, try to cover the sensor. But then even the ones, you know, when people are next to you and they hear the toilets are so loud and they don't like it, but just try to calm them down and, you know, try to do that, and try to think if there's anything else. I'm glad you brought that up, Jenny. My first freaked out and still does. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like once they freak out and they have that in their memory, it's really hard to get it out of their memory. When my kids were younger, does anyone remember the movie Jumanji? Yeah, well, my kids watched Jumanji, and for about the next month, they were scared to death of taking a bath or going to the toilet because they thought alligators were going to come up the drain. It was so fun. And we lived pretty close to our neighbors at the time, and I had to bathe them. You have to bathe your children. They're going to stink. So I would have to bathe them while both of them, Tommy and Jason, were screaming their heads off in the tub, like screaming bloody murder. And Jason just did whatever Tommy did. And so Tommy's screaming, the alligators are going to come eat us, the alligators. Like, Tommy, there's no alligators in the drain. I would try to show him. Didn't matter. He had seen Jumanji with the alligators swimming around, and he thought the alligators were going to come get him. So it was a good month before they would take a bath. And it was just stunk because they loved baths. You know, they'd spend like an hour in the bathtub, but then stupid Jumanji ruined that. So be careful what your kids watch, because it might ruin your bath routine for the next month or so. So yeah, kids are very, very they remember things. And that's why I cannot caution enough just to make potty training a joyful experience. Do not make them scared of it. Do not make them scared of having your wrath if they have an accident, or, you know, I've heard of kids, this one really happened to any of mine, but, you know, that would go days and days without going to the bathroom, like going poop. They'd hold it in, because they were just so afraid of it. And there's a difference between just being afraid of the unknown or being so scared of, you know, having mommy get angry at them that's why they're holding it. So you have to be really careful about that. Do nightmares cause a lot of accidents when potty training? It didn't really with mine. I don't think so. There haven't been too many bedwetting incidences. There was a couple, you know, there will be a couple, especially at the beginning, but then they wake up because they pee the bed and they don't like it. They don't like that they're wet and cold and stuff. So they learn pretty quickly, just to wake up if they need to go to the bathroom. I have heard, though, that a lot of parents, after they have a fully potty trained child, signs to look for when it comes to, you know, nightmares or even abuse in some situations, the child will begin bedwetting again. So that the bedwetting is never a good thing, especially if they're fully potty trained and they've never been a bedwetter, and then they start bedwetting. That's something to look for. But that's usually if something traumatic has happened to the child. Like I said, there have been instances where mine have regressed, maybe even had an accident at night where they don't usually. And it's not because of like abuse or anything, obviously, but it's maybe because of something going on in life. You know, we move, or there's a moving, you know, we've moved like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. So anytime we would have a move or the schedule would be off, you know, maybe we were on vacation or something, that might cause them to regress a little bit, but nothing that getting back on schedule going to fix pretty quickly. Cynthia said, my oldest is still scared of getting sucked down the drain because of a Curious George episode where the toys went down the drain. I'm telling you, anything that they watch can get stuck in their head. And then Jenny said, sometimes you can find a family bathroom. Yes, I love family bathrooms. Those are the best because then you don't have to worry about your other littles. Like, you know, you're trying to grab this little and you're trying to get this one to stay on the potty and you're trying to calm this one down. Family bathrooms are awesome. So, Oh, yes. Jessica said the other day, one of my boys pooped in the tub. That's happened with mine, and they freaked out. Yes, they're like, ah! Because it's like they're floating. Oh, I forgot about that. As you guys were talking, like all this stuff is coming back to me. And then Michael said, is it an issue if they take too long to potty out in public, especially when going number 2? It's not an issue. It's just an annoyance, obviously, because you've got to stand there and wait until they're done. It's like, come on. So it's not an issue. It's just, you know, kids take a long time sometimes. Joshua, I have not seen Amanda, so I do not think she is in here. Jenny said, I don't rush number 2. Yeah, exactly what I said. Just, you can't rush it. You have to just let nature take its course. So, but yeah, 41 minutes. I've gone on about that. Are there any more questions? That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, you know, underwear, get him excited about it. What happens if your child does not have any interest in it? I would definitely not push it if they don't want to do it. If they're just like being defiant and like putting their foot down and like screaming and crying and they will not sit on the potty and they just refuse, maybe they're scared, I wouldn't push it because you might be setting yourself up for failure. First of all, you might be causing it to be harder when they finally are ready to potty train. So I would definitely not push the issue if they're not ready for it. Because like I said, you don't want to put like a negative thought. You don't want to have negative feelings about it in your head before you even start. So it needs to be positive. It needs to be fun. You need to have lots of rewards, a reward system. For us, the main reason I potty trained so young is that when we were young, we were poor as church mice. Poor. And we're still poor, not as poor as we were. But when we were young, we were really poor. Like I'm talking like $30 a week for groceries poor. So if we're $30 a week for groceries poor, you can imagine that $7, $8 pack a week of diapers, that was a big expense to us. So the main reason that we potty trained so young was because we had to. We had to get them out of those diapers. And then also I had a couple in diapers. I mean, Tommy was 12 and a half months when Jason was born. So they were both, you know, Tommy was in them another year, and then Jason was in them 2 years. And then by the time Jason was just about to get out of them, Abby was born. So I've had a couple that were in diapers at the same time. So definitely, you know, that's why, because we were poor. So I feel like maybe because parents don't have to get their kids out of diapers, that's why they're taking longer and longer, you know, to potty train. But honestly, I don't know. I feel like 3 and 4, that's really pushing it. You know, I don't like cleaning up that mess. I mean, by 3 or 4, they're eating, you know, they're eating the same food you do. And it just gets really gross and smelly at that point. So, you know, definitely before they're 3, I would get them out of those diapers. I know a lot of moms say, I don't potty train until my kid comes and says, I want up on the toilet, please. And I definitely don't wait that long. But once again, it's your home. If you want to keep paying for diapers, that's your right to keep paying for diapers. Keep cleaning up gross poopy messes. That's your right to keep cleaning up gross poopy messes. So that's your choice. But for us, it was always pretty early. And then even with Bonnie, you know, we were a little better off. But I just, by the time they're 2, I'm just over the mess, cleaning them up all the time. And you know what? I actually think I trained Lana before she was even 2. I'm pretty sure by the time she was 21 months, she was trained. She was really, really ready and receptive, and she saw her older siblings. That's another thing. When you have a younger child and they see their older siblings going, she always saw Allie going. And so she wanted to go. And she figured out she would get constipated sometimes when I first switched her over to real food. And so I would actually put her on the toilet then because she'd able to go. So and this was like right at a year I started doing that. So once she turned a year, she had kind of figured out already that that's what the toilet was for. So that made it so easy. I didn't even have to go through that first step with her. So before she was even 2, I had bought her the underwear and she was already potty trained. So she was actually my earliest, Lana was. But it was because of the older siblings. And with Kelly, I'm planning on doing the same thing. It's going to be early. It's going to be early with her. So we'll see. I'll let you know how it goes, the cloth diapering versus the other diapers when it comes to potty training. So, and then Jenny recommended getting the thicker underwear. It's, yeah, the, you say Gerber. The Gerber brand. It's similar fabric to the cloth diaper. I've seen those. They are in, yeah, I just saw them the other day. They're at Walmart still. And then, oh yeah, Jessica said my son started to be more interested when I let him pee outside. Yes, if you are outside, that is a great time. Just let them run around in their underwear and let them pee outside, especially if they're boys. If it's summer and it's hot, that's about the only time it's hot in Illinois. It's when it's summer. Let them run around outside and let them have fun with it. You know, it's fun when you're a little boy to be outside, right? So, like I said, make games out of it. Have charts, do sticker charts, and then if they, you know, I never really had to do the sticker charts with mine because they caught on so quickly. So I would just do candy. My kids love candy. What kid doesn't love candy? My kids love sugar. What kid doesn't love sugar? And so that candy was an incentive enough to just give them the M&Ms or whatever. I'm pretty sure we used M&Ms. Yes, because then my husband would eat them too. He'd be like, you're eating the kids' candy for their potty successes. So, and then, let's see. Jenny, have you ever potty trained them out of cloth diapers? Do you feel like it's easy? Do you feel like they pick up quickly? I'm wondering if it would feel different, you know, because I went from disposable diapers to potty training with all my others. I wonder if in the cloth underwear, if it would just feel the same as when they wet their cloth diaper. That's a good question earlier because that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if that has, you know, since I'm going from cloth diapers to potty training with Kelly, I'm wondering if she'll already be used to the sensation of wet cloth. So I'm wondering if it'll be harder with that. So Jenny said I didn't do cloth diapers. Okay. The transition is easier from cloth potty training or the transition is easier from disposable potty training? That's what I'm wondering. We'll see. Maybe I'll get Kelly trained at 20 months. I don't know. So let me see. Are there any other questions? I can't really think of anything else I didn't cover. We covered when you're out in public. I would definitely do the pull-ups out in public. Cloth diaper seems easier. We'll see, I guess. Yes, we save a lot of money. You save a lot of money once they get out of, you mean a cloth. Yeah. Thank you to all. I've had a couple women that have sent me, I should show you my cloth diaper stash. It's getting to be so cute. I've had a couple women that have sent me extra cloth diapers that they have. And so I have quite a few different brands now. I have like Genius and I think Fuzzy Buns and the Elvas. I have the Hawaii, I think that's how you say it, baby, that a friend just sent this week. Oh, they're so cute. I love cloth diapers. They're very, very cute. So thank you to the ones that have sent me some. And I only spent, $60 initially with the first Elva babies that I got. And then I've had most of them sent to me. So I have a good little stash now for Kelly. So I really am enjoying it. And she seems to be enjoying it. And my son just installed a diaper sprayer for me today. I told my husband, I love having older sons because I didn't have to bug my husband. I didn't want to do it. So I got my 17-year-old. I'm like, here, watch this video and install this diaper sprayer for me. So he was able to do that today. So I love having older kids. So, okay. So let's see. Which cloth diaper is my favorite? So far, the Elvas have not leaked for me. I've really liked them. They are a very good diaper and they're only $5. They're $5 for the whole diaper. So they give you the pocket diaper and then they give you 2 inserts. They're not bamboo. They are the microfiber inserts, but she hasn't had any leaks with them. But I just got some scent. I think it's Kauai. I'm not sure how you say it, baby. And I really like these brand. They're like Velcro, like they Velcro across. They're really, and she sent me, she had like extras. And she had like 5 of those that she sent me. And I really, really like that diaper. So I'm going to look for that diaper. It has a wide strip of Velcro. And then you just kind of Velcro over the sides. And I really like that one. So the Kauai baby seemed to be fitting her pretty well. That and the Elvas have fit her pretty well, no leaks. Now, I did have some of the Bum Genius she actually leaked with. So, I don't know. Maybe I didn't have it tight enough or something. But, yeah, so. And then Cynthia said I tried cloth diapers, but it costs more to wash them. Yeah, if I had to go to the laundromat, it would probably be a bigger pain. And if I was paying for my water, I'm not. We're on well. So I don't pay for my water. So I'm able to do as many cycles here as I need to. No problems. So far it's working out great. Yes, Jenny. Elva. It's called Elva Baby. And I got them off Amazon. I only paid $5. I bought 12. 12 was my first stash of diapers I bought. I bought 12 diapers. They were $5 a piece, so I spent $60. And you can make them, they're a little bit bigger than the other pocket diapers, which would be nice when she gets older. But there are little newborn hacks. There's newborn hacks and things you can do with them. So, but the Kauai, I think it's Kawai maybe. Yeah, I think that's how you spell those ones. Those ones I'm really liking too so far. And the lady that sent them to me said that you can find really good deals online. They have like sales throughout the year where you can get discontinued ones for really cheap. Or, maybe ones that have slight like they're not exactly perfect, but they're still great diapers. You can get them discounted that way. So I really like the flip diapers. What are the flip diapers? I don't know all these diaper terms yet. I've been watching a lot of videos, so I have like a little bit more under my belt, but I felt like it's such a learning process. I was completely overwhelmed when I started it. Completely overwhelmed. But don't be overwhelmed because it's really not that hard. The pocket diapers are so simple because you just stick the inserts in them. And then it's mainly the washing thing I need to get down. I haven't had them long enough to where I know that my washing technique is really that good. So I always soak them first, and then I do a heavy duty cycle, which is almost 2 hours, and then I do an extra rinse as well, and then I dry them on low. So far, no stink. I use Tide. It seems to be washing it pretty well. So I'm going to be excited when I'm actually able to put them out in the sun to kind of get a little bit of the stains out that I see here and there. But it's Illinois, so who knows when that'll be. A waterproof shell, then you put in an insert. I have a couple of those that are, they're a well-known brand. Those were okay, but she has leaked a couple of times with those, I've noticed. And yes, I have a spray attached to the toilet. So it attaches right into the water line, there's a water line in your toilet and it attaches right into the water line, and then you just kind of stick it on your toilet. So that'll even be nice when I'm cleaning the toilet. Or you can use it as like a bidet, which I don't know if that'll ever get used that way, but it's just kind of handy. It's going to be really, really handy having it there. So when I got my taxes, I went ahead and bought one of those. They are the cheapest. So shell dries faster and just have a lot of inserts. Yep. Yeah, I've had a few of those. She's almost outgrown them though because they're newborn. So I had those sent to me by someone. So thank you for everyone that has helped out with that. It's been nice. And hopefully, once Kelly's done, I can pass them on to someone else who can use them too. So I like to help out other people because I have been helped out a lot. So anyways, we are at an hour. So I think that is about all I have. That actually, I talked so long, you guys. Such a talker. I think it's going to be like a 20-minute show, and then it ends up being an hour every time. Because I could just talk and talk and talk. Okay, so any more questions real quick? Good talk. Hopefully it'll help someone out. I know this is not relevant to all the ladies that watch the channel, But sometimes I need to do things like this because the whole goal of the channel is to teach younger moms. I get so many good ideas. Thank you for all the ideas today on Facebook. I will definitely be trying to do a lot of those. I like a lot of the marriage ones because that's relevant across the board. For unmarried or, you know, veteran that are married, newly married, I like the marriage ones. I do like the idea. Actually, Remy Thompson had an idea, and now this is like been going through my head all day about teaching, you know, kind of teaching about the whole labor and delivery process. And he recommended getting my husband on here, but that's not going to happen. I would just have to do that one by myself. My husband does not like talking about the labor and delivery process. He doesn't like thinking about it. He doesn't like being in there when it happens. It really freaks him out. He has a hard time with it, which that's fine. You know, some women are like, he just needs to man up, whatever. You know, God made women to be the ones that have the children, not the men. And for him, for the men, they hate seeing their wives in pain. He hates seeing me in pain. He hates seeing me go through it. So, you know, that's not something he likes doing. But it is something that I like talking about. Obviously, every woman loves talking about labor and delivery and all that. So I would love to do a show just kind of detailing everything that you go through. You know, early labor, you know, the whole thing leading up to it, all of the early labor pains, the early dilation process, you know, transition, what you're going to go through, the whole, when you finally get to the pushing stage, and just teaching younger women, you know, too, how to be their own advocates when it comes to things. Because one thing that does lay heavy on me is I see a lot of first-time moms being pushed around by doctors, and I do not like it. And you know what? It almost always ends up in a C-section. Almost always. And that really bothers me. So if I could just get one woman to just really be vocal and firm in her decisions, you know, having it to end a C-section is not the end of the world. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that I can see it coming, because most of these moms are pushed into being induced before they're ready, and their body is not ready to go into labor, but yet their doctors are pushing them to be induced, and then they get induced, and it's a nightmare, and it ends in a C-section every time. So I would love to do a show about that. That was a good idea, Remy. And but my husband probably will not be joining us. I'll do that probably by myself. So, and then next week, if you have a business, I'm going to put this out there. I want to do a show, and I want to interview all of you that have your own business from your home. And what I'm going to do is going to be a big production, okay? So I want to email all of you a link that you can click on and you can join us. And I can do a little interview with you so that we can see you, we can hear you, and you can tell us about your business. And I will put all the links on that. So it's going to be like a home business show, okay? Because I know there's a lot of you that watch that have your own businesses, and I think we need to help each other out. If we can help each other out, we're all moms. We're all, you know, trying to make a little money on the side. So I would love to do a show featuring all of you that have businesses, okay? So get in touch with me about that. And I want all of you that have home businesses to be my guests next week. And I won't have you on all at the same time, but I might do different time slots. So like, you know, I'll have one come on at 7, then 7:10, 7:20, 7:30, you know, so on and so forth. So I will be putting something out about that, and you guys can contact me by email. I think that's going to be exciting. So, okay, so let me see. Okay, I don't see anything else, so I will go ahead and sign off. And I hope you guys have a good week. I hope no one else gets sick. Pray that no one else in my family gets sick. I don't think any of us are. I think we've been blessed by that, and we will see you next week, okay? Bye.